It's Ken Harbaugh with the MeidasTouch Network. We've got to talk about disinformation because as bad as things have been, it's only going to get worse. Last week, Karoline Leavitt announced she would step down as White House press secretary at the end of August. Her tenure behind the briefing room podium has been a disaster for Americans' faith in their own government. Leavitt didn't just lie every day. She did it with a smile on her face and a cross around her neck, and with a pathological effortlessness. In case you forgot, this was how she introduced herself to the country.
I commit to telling the truth from this podium every single day. I commit to speaking on behalf of the President of the United States. That is my job. And I will say it's very easy to speak truth from this podium when you have a president who is implementing policies that are wildly popular with the American people. And that's exactly what this administration is doing.
Lying in government isn't new, but there are two things that set this administration apart when it comes to disinformation: the shamelessness with which they spread it, and the willingness to use every lever at their disposal, public and private, to amplify their lies and silence those who would challenge them. The Trump regime has already brought big tech to heel. Remember the social media oligarchs lined up on the dais at Trump's second inauguration, like soldiers awaiting orders? There is much to learn from what Viktor Orban did to Hungary until the people finally rose up. One of the things I have been following is how the Trump regime is outsourcing its disinformation and harassment operations. The clearest example is the J6 rioters. We all remember Donald Trump telling the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. But there are other extremely well-funded organizations doing Trump's dirty work, and one of them just went after two friends of the show, Denver Riggleman and Adam Kinzinger. Congressman Kinzinger served on the January 6th committee, and Denver, already a former member of Congress by the time J6 happened, was the committee's senior technical advisor. The right-wing organization Judicial Watch just launched a disinformation campaign against Adam in Denver, part of a broad effort to undermine faith in our elections and a specific attempt to retaliate against Denver and Adam for uncovering the truth about Trump's assault on democracy. I asked Denver to come on and talk about it. We get into a bit of technical detail about the J6 investigation and what Judicial Watch is after, but the bottom line is this: the surge in the legal harassment of Donald Trump's critics is happening because Donald Trump and his allies are in full panic mode. They know what will happen when the House of Representatives flips and when the new Congress finally has the will to investigate the crimes of this administration. There is nothing Trump fears more than accountability, and going after the J6 committee is another sign of Trump's desperation. Here's me and former Congressman Denver Riggleman. Denver, great to see you back. Been a while. I know you've been busy, but they're also making you busy. Explain to us what's going on with these record searches and FOIA requests. They're digging for info, and it's you and Adam together, I guess, that they are after.
Yeah. So, after the January 6th committee, and that's another whole show, I think, Ken, on some of the successes, obviously the January 6th committee, but also some of the failures. A lot of that was really the lack of information sharing between the J6 committee and the Justice Department and the FBI on what happened on January 6th. So Adam and I were corresponding at length about what to do with the 30 million lines of data, not 30 million phone records.
Right.
It's ludicrous. I mean, it's almost, it's just ridiculous. But also, I would say the number of call detail records actually analyzed by the January 6th committee might have been 550, 600 at the most. And I just find it ludicrous and hilarious that the guy with the two small T-shirts, Tom Fitton from Judicial Watch, wants to actually put out something so ludicrous. And for me, it's almost like they bring a squirt gun to a firefight. They're probably some of the most ignorant and stupid people I've ever seen. But the dangerous part is that it's disinformation and propaganda about what the J6 committee did. And lastly, I hope they do. Please come after us, because the phone record hard drives have been lost once they were sent to law enforcement and to Congress. And I've already, months ago, I went to lawyers to try to find them, Ken. So this is so much deeper than people know because of the incompetence, not only of this filing or wanting to have records, but there was definitely incompetence in Congress and at the federal investigation level also.
So explain to us the messaging strategy here as you see it on the part of Judicial Watch. They are trying to make something out of nothing, exaggerating things like 30 million phone records as opposed to 30 million lines of code. They're making it seem like every American has had their calls with their mom monitored. Metadata is nothing like that. But I mean, you call them ignorant, and they are ignorant. I've gotten their mailers in the past, but they also are good at provoking the fear of ordinary Americans that the government is listening to them all the time.
They're very good at injecting bleach into the veins of Americans. I mean, that's what, and ignorance is such an easy thing to grasp. And, they've learned to weaponize stupidity in a way that's pretty effective. The genius is the stupidity. I don't even know what to say to that statement, but it really is. Propaganda and disinformation are so powerful to low information voters, but also people already believe in deep state and globalist conspiracy theories. And they try to conflate metadata to actually listening in on calls, right? Tapping calls and, doing voice, right? They don't know the difference between comment internals or comment externals. They don't know the difference between what metadata is, right? Or even what a to from line would be. They're literally swimming in their own shite. But the thing is that they're swimming with a lot of people who want to believe it and they want to play in it. And I think that's the brilliance of disinformation and propaganda in MAGA, but also in organizations like Judicial Watch.
Hey, it's Ken with a quick break to tell you about a new short documentary, Safe Ground, which follows American military veteran Ryan Hendrickson, who I recently interviewed on this show as he leads a mine-clearing team in Ukraine. It's a riveting account of what these crews go through to clear minefields and unexploded ordnance, saving the lives of ordinary Ukrainians and giving them a chance at a normal life. The footage and storytelling are extraordinary. You can watch the film for free on MeidasTouch's partner channel, Valor Media Network. The link is below. Here's a preview of Safe Ground.
It only takes one mistake. You will get yourself or somebody else injured or killed. I know God has a plan for everybody's life, and I do know that you're not going to die before it's your time.
I know what these devices can do to you because I stepped on an IED in Afghanistan.
God doesn't waste pain. Use that pain and that experience to go help other people. Let's go! Civilian casualties from this war are high.
Russian drones attacked this place.
I got a solid hit. Something's here. We have to understand the dangers, and we have to understand what we're up against. Line!
This ignorance about how this kind of data is collected legally, by the way, metadata, and I believe in most of the cases in which it was used by the committee, it wasn't even tagged to users. It's not only being weaponized by judicial watches and groups like that. Members of Congress, Republican members of Congress, have both weaponized it and monetized it. Aren't some asking for compensation for having had their metadata included in some of these records? Not call records, not conversations, but metadata. Explain that piece of this story to us.
Yeah, what's incredible, there was about 36 congressional members that were very active on the Mark Meadows text messages. When we started looking at phone records, it was very difficult to get congressional phone records, but we saw congressional members talking to some pretty high interest individuals in the phone records that we were able to gather. I think what you're having with these individuals wanting to be compensated because they were part of a coup attempt
exactly.
is really incredible. It's Ken, the scary part, and Adam and I laugh about it, me and you sort of laugh about it, but this is incredibly dangerous. I had people who believed I was a secret agent of George Soros after I officiated a gay wedding as a Republican. They thought they called me everything in the book. I had death threats that to the point that, you're like, some of them you can laugh off, but some of them are so specific, you start to say, okay, we have some issues. the thing with Adam and I, if you're talking about this, what they're doing is they're perpetuating the globalist deep state conspiracy theories that there's some secret apparatus of government that's controlling everything and actually looking at everybody's records and things like that. So when you talk about metadata, I need to educate people. Metadata is not voice. I don't even know how to, it's so easy to look this up, to identify what metadata is, the exact call records that the committee collected without geolocation data, to from records, right? To just look at what those networks looked like as far as communications, not actually identifying or getting the communications, which is ludicrous. There's so many things you'd have to do to tap a phone or to be a man in the middle operation that it's hard for me to even quantify with these idiots. But again, it's dangerous to families because disinformation, where the American public thinks that the United States government can just in a whole basket, collect all their phone records and look at whatever they're saying, is so ludicrous, so outside the bounds of scientific understanding that it's hard for me to explain it anymore, my friend.
How do we square that, though, with an administration that would do that if it could, and in many domains doesn't care about what the law says? I mean, much of the protections we rely on ultimately do rely upon, and I think this is Madison, the virtue of men. I mean, the law itself, it's not the ultimate guardrail. It's people's commitment to it and people's willingness to honor it. And, you know, you have an administration that I fear bulldozes right through these personal privacy protections. And stories like the one we're talking about just really muddy the waters when we're talking about a regime now that could care less about the privacy of Americans.
They don't. I mean, look at their voter record registration request to the federal government, right? Look at everything they're doing. Remember, when we talk about conspiracy theories, a lot of times that which they accuse of me and you, that which they accuse us of is exactly what they're doing. And that is the biggest fear, is that a lot of times conspiracy theories have this little grain of fact that blooms into the nuttiness that you see that is a conspiracy theory. We don't know. We can't trust any of the data coming from the Trump administration. We know they lie wholeheartedly. They lie with impunity. And I think, again, that's the balance, right? Is that when they accused individuals of stealing the election in January 6th, era, right, of 2020, they themselves now are trying to steal elections through process and through
Right.
legislation. So it's that fine line of, yes, that's a conspiracy theory, but the very person talking about that as a conspiracy theory is exactly what they want to do to you. That's the issue we have with this administration. Maybe the most egregiously, I would say, positioned government as far as propagandists, liars, criminals, shills, and the rudderless. I think that's what we're dealing with.
If there is one saving grace, it is the utter incompetence with which they are prosecuting these kinds of illegal and misleading activities. I'm thinking, especially because this is so personal for us, their attempt to lie about and mislead about the casualty numbers from this stupid war with Iran, especially the KIAs. I mean, the idea that they thought that they could get away with erasing 4 of our brothers in arms killed in action, it is outrageous. It's infuriating. But on the other hand, it reminds you just how bad at this they are, and that they're going to get caught.
You know, Ken, again, your moral compass is so strong, and I hope that they get caught. You know, that's almost a whole nother show when I talk about it. It seems like since 2015, when Trump came down the elevator, me and you, I would say the collective MAGA they've allowed for and weaponized disinformation on a level. I don't know how we pull back some of this, Ken. I don't know if we do get complete justice. I don't know how we pull back all the wealth the Trump family has taken from the American taxpayer. But I do hope that people start to see what's actually happening. And our job, Ken, I think, is to continue to do this. You've done an amazing job. But I think at some point, if my company does very well, which it is, that's why I'm in Canada now and going all over the world. If these things do very well, I think I have to jump back in.
Hope you do.
I have to jump back in. And because I think I can talk a lot. I'm great at this, right? I love it. I love talking to you. I love, but I think at some point, since I've had that honor of doing it, I think maybe I have to jump back in. Not even a maybe. I'm going to have to at some point. It's just when that time is. And it's never convenient, my friend, is it?
No, it's never convenient. It's never easy for those who are doing it for the right reasons. I hope folks load up the comments down below because I know a lot of folks want you to get back. I know you're in the fight, Denver, but everyone will know what I mean. They want you to run. They want you to run for office again. All right.
I know.
Yeah.
You're a good man. No, a lot of people are like, well, Denver, you should, man. Great. It would be awesome. No, running for office is not awesome unless you're a sociopathic narcissist, right? Running for office is painful for people who actually took the oath and want to serve for real. It's sort of brutal. And it also takes a lot from your life. It hurts your family if you're serving for the right reasons. If you're some narcissist who's trying to, I would say monetize your situation, this is a great job, right? You can do some government stuff, go into lobbying. You can leverage other individuals to make sure you have jobs on the flip, right? You can use your campaign funds for lavish dinners. You get the first reservations at the Capitol Grill. Great. The thing is, though, when you're really trying to do good things, it's a brutal, awful, thankless job. And I think that's why I know what's coming. This isn't naive Denver of the years of 48 years old. This is Denver at 56, knowing it's going to be a brutal face shot every time I go out and try to run. But I think you got to do it at some point,
Well, read the comments if you need a little motivation. I have a feeling I know what they're going to say. Thanks, Denver, as always. See you back here soon.
Thanks, brothers. See you, man.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.